All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. Great to see everybody this morning. Good to see you all here. Let's get Instagram going. It just updated. So, how's everybody doing this morning? Have a conversation with you this morning about gratitude. And we go there and we go there. And the conversation I want to have with you is that this idea of being grateful and having gratitude is two different things. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. Uh, this idea of being grateful and gratitude, when people say, well, how's your gratitude? Well, I'm grateful. Yes, you are. I have no doubt that you are. Being grateful is an external awareness. Being grateful is an external awareness. Something happens in your life and you become a shift in energy and it triggers a response in you. Having gratitude in your life doesn't trigger a response. It's who you are. Dr. Joe Dispenza says, your external realities can make up your personality, or your personality can make up your external realities. When you sit in gratitude, it's your personality adjusting and causing the vibratory state of your external world to appear. How many of you have ever been in a near-death situation? I hope you have never had to be there, but if you've ever been there, doesn't the air smell different? If you've had a near-death experience, drop ND in the chat, right? If you've had a near-death experience, drop ND in the chat. And the reason is because it's time for you to remember, you're here for a reason. You're here probably for a pretty big reason. So if you've had a near-death experience, how could you ever be mean again? You're not, I don't think you were kept safe. Think about it. I don't think you were kept safe to be miserable. I think there's plenty of examples of miserable people out there. They didn't need another one for you to go through a near-death experience. I hope you truly, I've had four near-death experiences, and I mean fractions of a second. I like life even more every time. See, we don't have to go through. I don't wish you to go through these things. The reason that we go through these things, or the reason that we experience these things, is maybe so we can be that North Star for somebody. We could be that person that says, "Oh my gosh, you've made a choice." See, gratitude is a choice of living. Grateful is a response to a moment. Is this making sense? Somebody opens the door for you. Thank you. That's not gratitude. That's being grateful. That is not gratitude. And see, if you believe that it is, it could be, it might be the reason you struggle. There's a huge difference between being grateful and being in gratitude. Hey, how about showing me some gratitude? That you don't show gratitude. You become gratitude, and it exists. It pours out of every cell in your body. Do you realize how many of us have ever met somebody who said thank you and you knew they were not telling the truth? I'm not going to say they were lying. Their personality doesn't allow them to sit in gratitude. How many people do you know? Walk into a room and you're like, ugh. Would it be fair to say that they are not sitting in gratitude? They might be the kindest, nicest person. Hey, how about a boss? How about a boss who's a fair boss, a good boss? They're a nice boss, but when they get on a rampage, they are not a good boss. They're not a kind boss. They're not sitting in gratitude. They're just not. So how do you make this change? How do you make this shift? How do you make this awareness? It becomes awareness, right? Where's the book? Here, I was reading this morning. I do my best to read every morning chapter 7, 14, and 4 in Science of Getting Rich. It says, Gratitude. The illustrations given in the last chapter will convey to the reader that the fact that the first step toward getting rich is to convey the idea of your wants to the formless substance. All right, this is asking God. This is prayer. Most people don't pray all day long. They'll find moments, and usually it's in moments of despair that you pray. That's asking the formless substance, right? There is the thinking stuff from which all things are made, in its original state, permeates and penetrates and fills the inner spaces of the universe. Key words in there are the in its original state. You have access to gain anything you want. The challenge is that you might be asking in a grateful moment with a non-gratitude harmony. Yeah, this is the most complicated thing you'll ever do. And when you understand it, when you grasp it, the key is that I say a dozen times every day, it's not about doing certain things, Wallace D. Waddell says. It's about doing things in a certain way. How many of you love to cook, and how many of you have tried to duplicate your grandmother's recipe for spaghetti? I don't know what it is, or frijoles, or something, or black beans and rice. My mom, we had friends from Mexico come up. My dad was doing business. This is 30 years ago, and she wanted to learn how to make frijoles. We lived in a very small town in Burton, Ohio. We didn't have frijoles. We barely had refried beans. She bought the beans and refried them, literally refried them. When people come, you want to do things to make them feel comfortable. The universe wants you to be comfortable. God wants you to be comfortable. You're her creation after all. When this idea of gratitude begins to set in, the reason that we're not taught gratitude, we're taught be kind and be thankful. Thankful is not gratitude. It's just not. And as you begin to hear this more and more, that you understand, Moi, how are you? When you understand this, you start to have a shift in your body. You start to literally feel your body's center move. And maybe it moves deeper into your soul. My whole goal of this morning's conversation is to help you grasp the vast difference, the edges of the universe difference between being grateful and being in gratitude. There's people who are grateful for when things don't go so right in their life. It's because of the depth of their gratitude. They'll say things with a true spirit, with a resoundance, with a gravity in their voice. They'll say, it is what it is. Those people who have a smile on their face when it looks like tough times were around, tough times just appeared, they're probably sitting in gratitude. But if you see people recoil from something and they resist the awareness of the present moment, they are not in gratitude. They are probably in fear, in shock, in something other than gratitude. Allows you to be this 200,000-ton tanker in an ocean of chaos. It might move you a hair, but it's tossing other ships around. It's tossing other planes around and boats around. The winds are strong, the ocean currents are strong, the waves are huge. Are you big enough? And gratitude gives you your gravity. Gratitude gives you your place in your space that you just aren't affected. Let me read something else in here. The whole process of mental adjustment and atonement, that's a key word, can be summed up in one word: gratitude. I'll give some space to the discussion here. If you give and give you instructions, which, if you follow them, will be certain to bring you in perfect unity of the mind of God. The whole process is a mental adjustment and atonement. What does it mean to atone? Personal atonement. Forgive yourself for everything, for all of those times that you're like, I knew it. Oh, I'm so stupid, right? We start with the self-talk. Gratitude allows your brain to readjust. Gratitude allows your brain to change its state. How many of you have ever healed yourself of something? I'm not saying it was incurable, but how many of you have ever healed yourself of something that needed some healing? Could have been of a broken heart. How many of you have ever had a broken heart that you fixed the broken heart? You fixed yourself. The pain, the idea, the thought, the concept, if you ever stepped into it, it came, right? How many of you think of a situation and you kind of get forlorn for it, you get sad for it, you maybe even get a little emotional of it. If you've healed yourself of something, it was through gratitude. It was through gratitude that you healed it because it allowed you a moment to come back to your highest and best state. When you are frustrated, when you are in pain, and when you are struggling, you are not in gratitude. And this is where faith comes in. This is where blessings comes in. This is where an absolute 100% knowing that any pain you're in is temporary, and so is any joy. All of them are temporary. And here's the other thing to become fully aware of. It could be worse than it is, and it could be better than it is. And if you have a situation where you look at it and you say, it could have been worse, then please become aware in the moment that if it could have been worse, then this is pretty good. And if it could be better, maybe you want to move more towards the bigger and the better. This alignment, this fluctuation between great and misery is how big and deep your gratitude is. As your gratitude grows, it brings these two things together so that in all moments, you look at life and say, I am grateful for this moment, and I am filled with gratitude for the lesson and the experience. Why do we repeat pain over and over? Why do we go out with the same person, the same kind of person that maybe mistreats us? Because we're not sitting in gratitude. We're being grateful. We're grateful for the temporary moments, and then the real pain in the neck moments that come, you put up with them. Why do you put up with them? You put up with them because hopefully there's another grateful moment coming. Grateful is an anticipation that something better is coming. Gratitude is that all things that arrive are good for you. It's a big shift. Tiny little adjustment on the dial. It's the difference between that moment. When you flick the light switch moves a long distance. It maybe moves an inch, but there's only 1 second. There's only 1 second. There's only 1 second, 1/10 of a second where it goes from off to on. It's not the whole switch it's not the whole movement of the switch. It's not from the moment you flip the switch. Whether it's a toggle switch, a rocker switch, or a regular old style switch, or a pull cord. How many of you pull on a cord? Pull, 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 click. That's how far away your gratitude is. There's some effort to get it to turn on. And once your gratitude turns on, once you begin to see things through the eyes of gratitude, not grateful, everything changes. Well, I'm a grateful person. I totally believe it. Absolutely 100% believe it. Not doubting it one bit. But can you see your world through gratitude? You know what gratitude is? Is that your child's been absolutely bonkers all day long, and they finally pass out. How many moms drop a P in the chat? Your kid passes out and you're like, oh, I love them. I don't want to put a stamp on their head and put them in the mailbox. I love them. I love them. When you do something monumental in your life, first communion, graduate high school, do something, and your mom looks at you for all of the pain. And how many of you have ever snuck out, right? When you weren't supposed to sneak out? Drop SO in the chat. Snuck out. You snuck out of your room. Oh my gosh, Katie, you little rabble rouser. You snuck out of the room and you caused your mom pain. Yeah, mom called the police. Yeah, sure. And then when you did something monumental, if they were still around to witness it, and tears flowed down their eyes. Did all of the moments of wanting to call the police or beat you to within an inch of your life, did any of those come up in that moment? That's because when all is said and done, as much pain and as horror as you caused your parents, they'll say things. I hope you have kids just like you. For all of that pain, they were always they always loved you from a state of gratitude. They were thankful when you went to bed earlier, or thankful that you got home on time. They were thankful, they were grateful that you arrived safe and they could stop worrying, and then they could, you know, give you some tar, beat you up, smack you, give you a little spanking. But when they say the words, truly say the words, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you, because it it pulled at their gratitude for you. So moms, you get it. Dads, you sort of get it. You're not wired for that. You can be. You are. Not at the depth that moms are. It's just something that's amazing. So there's my little step up on the soapbox conversation of grateful versus gratitude. Grateful is a temporary external experience. I hear our rooster. We call him Johnny Bravo. I hear Johnny Bravo because he likes to look at himself in a mirror. Craziest rooster on the planet. But I hear him crowing. Greatest sound ever. I am so grateful to be able to hear that sound on our ranch. I'm filled with gratitude because he watches over the chickens. Literally, he keeps his hens safe. And I'm grateful for that, because the gratitude I get when I go to the coop and get the eggs. We got 9 eggs yesterday. Talk about just absolute gratitude. Most people don't get eggs in the winter. I don't know. Our chickens are just happy, and maybe they're grateful too. That maybe they're filled with gratitude and they want to give back. I listen, we could spend a half a day on just talking about chickens and laying eggs, and why do ours lay when nobody else's does in the winter? I don't know. I don't know. But Jim Rohn would say, don't sign up for that class. I'm just filled with gratitude. So that's my conversation. Grateful versus gratitude. Pay attention to your day. Spend some time with me. Um, yeah, there's not going to be a challenge this week. I'm driving to Dallas tomorrow, and then I'll be in a 2-day mastermind of marketing and memory with Ron White, 2-time U.S. memory champion. Probably the 5th time I'll be with him, and I'll be with Kyle Wilson. Each of them will be giving 7 hours. Kyle will be giving 7 hours of marketing. If you don't know who Kyle Wilson is, you know who they are, who they marketed with. Kyle Wilson was the president of Jim Rohn International for 18 years. 18 years. The reason that you know Jim Rohn, the reason that you know his quotes, is because Kyle brought him to the world. Jim Rohn was part of Herbalife, and he was kind of locked up in contracts there, and Kyle got him to speak outside of that world. And we're forever grateful for that. So I get to go, and Kyle is a good friend of mine. I'm one of the authors in his collaboration book that's coming out next. That'll be my 6th best-selling book that I'm a part of. So I'm excited. I get to go there and spend some time with my friends. There'll be 50 of us in the room. So I love you tons. I appreciate you. I hope you have an incredible, fun-filled, fact-filled day, understanding how grateful you can be, and let it fill your gratitude. Because you are in a place and in a space that you can have more. I love you tons. I'm your grateful, gratitude, brain-bending misfit. I'll see y'all where? I'll see you at the next event. Thanks, everybody. And hang on, VIPers, those of you in the Zoom room. Let me say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, I love you tons. I appreciate you. Thank you for all the follows. Thanks for all the likes on my shorts. Not the shorts I wear, right? The YouTube shorts. I appreciate y'all. I love you tons. I'll see you where? I'll see you at the next fun, beautiful, mind-bending conversation.